UFO. Is it a real phenomenon or just a fabrication? If something happens once, you can call it a coincidence. If it happens twice, you can call it an error. But if it keeps happening over many years, witnessed by different people, and still has no explanation, then maybe the problem isn't the phenomenon itself. Maybe it's the way we understand the world. Skinwalker Ranch is a place like that. A piece of land where modern instruments record things that shouldn't exist. A place where even those who trust science the most have to admit they don't understand what is happening. Before Skinwalker Ranch was known to scientists or modern media, this land already carried a very long history, one not written in documents, but passed down through generations as stories. The area lies near the territories of two major Native American tribes in North America, the Ute and the Navajo. These are not only long-established communities, but cultures with deep belief systems about nature, spirits, and forces beyond the physical world. In Navajo tradition, there is a concept known as the skinwalker. It is not simply a creature or a piece of folklore. A skinwalker is described as an entity capable of shapeshifting, often taking the form of animals, moving silently in the dark, and appearing suddenly before humans. But what's important is not just the skinwalker itself, it's the land. The Navajo believe this area is cursed, a kind of boundary zone where the human world and something else overlap. They believe it is not a place to live, not a place to explore, but a place that should be avoided. What makes this even more unsettling is that the Ute, another tribe in the same region, have similar stories. Not identical, but consistent in one key point. This land is not normal. For generations, no community has truly settled here long-term. No villages, no major structures, just an empty stretch of land, left behind. Not because it has no value, but because in their belief, there are places that are simply not meant to belong to humans. In 1994, the Sherman family moved to a large ranch in the state of Utah. To them, it was simply a quiet piece of land, a place far enough from the city to start over. A modest house, a few livestock pens, and open fields stretching to the horizon. Nothing about it suggested that this place was different. But from the very first days, there were small details they couldn't explain. The livestock enclosures had locks, placed on the outside, not to keep intruders out, but as if to keep something inside. They didn't think much of it. They removed the locks. Life went on. Until one evening, just after sunset, an animal appeared. It looked like a wolf, but not quite. Its body was larger than normal. Its movements were slow, controlled. Its eyes didn't resemble those of a predator. What frightened them most wasn't its size. It was its behavior. It showed no fear of humans. It walked closer, unnaturally close. The Sherman family stood frozen. No one spoke, not because they couldn't, but because there was a clear feeling that whatever stood before them did not belong there. The man in the family raised his gun and fired. Once, then again. The sound echoed across the empty land, but the animal barely reacted. It didn't run. It didn't collapse. It just stood there, watching. Then it turned and disappeared into the darkness. No tracks, no sound, as if it had never been there at all. After that night, everything began to change. The livestock started disappearing. First one, then two, then more. There were no signs of attack, no broken fences, no footprints. They simply vanished. One day, they found a cow lying in the field. Its body was intact, but the cuts on it made no sense. Clean, precise, no blood around it, no signs of struggle. It didn't look like it had been killed. It looked like it had been processed. At night, things became even stranger. The sky was no longer still. Lights began to appear, not like aircraft, no sound. They moved in ways that made no sense, stopping midair, changing direction instantly, then disappearing. Sometimes they came very close, close enough to create the feeling that they were watching. But the event that truly frightened the Sherman family happened on a night unlike any other. No moon, no wind, no sound. In that complete silence, something appeared. A dark area formed in the air. Not a shadow, not a cloud, but a patch of space where light seemed to no longer exist. Like a tear, a gap, and from it, something emerged. No clear shape, nothing like any creature they had ever seen. Just a movement, slow, unnatural, and completely out of place in the known world. After everything they experienced, the Sherman family made a decision. They left. No explanation, no conclusion, only one certainty. They did not want to spend another night there, and the most unsettling part is, they were not the only ones who had seen these things. One of the most difficult phenomena to understand at Skinwalker Ranch isn't the lights or the creatures. It's the space itself. The Sherman family didn't claim they saw a strange flying object. They said they saw a gap appear in midair. At first, it was just a small, dark spot, but it wasn't like a shadow. Light around it didn't pass into it, it didn't reflect, it didn't distort. It simply existed, like a piece of the sky had been cut out. Then the darkness began to expand, not spreading outward, but as if space itself was being pulled apart. And from that, something emerged. No clear shape, nothing like any known animal. Just a strange movement, slow, unstable, and completely unfamiliar. What makes this phenomenon unsettling isn't what the thing was. It's how it appeared. If it were just an unknown creature, it could still be studied. But if it came from a tear in space, then the question is no longer about the creature. It's about the structure of reality itself. When scientists began studying Skinwalker Ranch, they weren't looking for stories. They were looking for evidence. But the evidence itself was what kept disappearing. One of the most frequently recorded phenomena was this. Equipment would fail at the exact moment something happened. Cameras could run for hours without any issue, but the moment an anomaly occurred, they shut off. No warning, no clear malfunction. They simply stopped. And when checked afterward, there was no data recorded at all. The batteries behaved just as strangely. Fully charged units could drop to zero within seconds. No overheating, no visible damage. Just the energy, gone. Another recurring phenomenon was what researchers called dead zones. In certain areas of the ranch, radio signals stopped working, GPS lost accuracy, communication devices failed completely. But stepping just a few meters outside those areas, everything returned to normal. This suggested that the problem wasn't the equipment, it was the environment itself. There were also instances where radar detected objects in the sky with clear position and movement, but in a single moment, the object would vanish completely. It didn't fly away, it didn't slow down, it simply stopped existing within the system. What stands out isn't any single phenomenon, it's how they occur together. When something happens, equipment shuts down, signals are disrupted, data cannot be recorded. As if there is an invisible limit, a boundary that science can approach but cannot cross. From 2016 to the present, research at Skinwalker Ranch has continued. This time with far more advanced technology. But the results haven't changed. Drones sent into certain areas of the ranch often lose signal. Not because of low battery, not because of technical failure, but because the connection is suddenly, completely gone. Radar systems have detected objects in the sky, clear positions, measurable movement, yet cameras see nothing. This creates a paradox. The data says something is there, but human vision says there is nothing. Some instruments have recorded additional anomalies. Sudden temperature shifts within just a few meters. Electromagnetic signals that appear and disappear without pattern. Hot spots in the sky with no identifiable source. Even with modern technology, the same pattern remains. Something is happening. It can be measured, but it cannot be fully seen or fully understood. Skinwalker Ranch isn't frightening because there is something there. It's frightening because there are too many things, and none of them fit together. Creatures, lights, data, signals, space itself. All of them are abnormal. Yet none of them follow a single, consistent pattern. That is what makes this place so unusual. It is one of the rare cases where science cannot form a complete model to explain what's happening. And when science cannot explain something, it doesn't mean it's supernatural. It simply means something much more unsettling. We don't understand enough. And maybe Skinwalker Ranch isn't a special place at all. It may just be one of the few places where reality briefly reveals what lies beyond it.